Welcome to our lesson on modes of entry into international markets, which is actually lesson 9 of our course on international studies in business. In today's session, we delve into the various modes of entry available to businesses seeking to expand their operations beyond domestic borders. So in this lesson, we will cover certain key concepts, which are actually the modes of entries. Exporting, one. Second, licensing and franchising. Third, joint ventures and strategic alliances. And number four, foreign direct investment, or what we call as FDI. So welcome to our exploration of international business strategy. Over the next 2 years, 2 weeks, we will delve into the intricacies of entering and competing in global markets. In this first lesson, we will explore the various modes of entry available to businesses seeking to expand their operations beyond domestic borders. So entering international markets requires careful consideration of the most suitable mode of entry. So businesses can choose from a range of options including exporting, licensing and franchising, joint ventures, strategic alliances, and foreign direct investment, or FDI. Each mode of entry, take note, presents distinct advantages, risks, and resource requirements influencing strategic decision making. So let's deal with them one by one. Exporting. Exporting involves selling goods or services produced domestically to foreign markets. It is a relatively low-risk mode of entry, requiring minimal investment and allows businesses to test international waters before committing to more extensive overseas operations. Exporting stands as one of the fundamental strategies for businesses venturing into international markets, as exemplified by Nike's global success in selling its sportswear products across diverse regions. By leveraging its brand reputation and innovative designs, Nike has effectively penetrated foreign markets, illustrating the low-risk nature of exporting as a mode of entry. With minimal investment required, exporting allows businesses to test international waters, as we have said, before committing to extensive overseas operations, thereby enabling them to capitalize on economies of scale and competitive advantages while driving growth and profitability in global markets. Number two is licensing and franchising. Licensing and franchising agreements grant foreign entities the right to use a company's intellectual properties, trademarks, or business model in exchange for royalties or fees. These modes of entry offer a cost-effective way to expand globally while leveraging local expertise and, of course, resources. Licensing and franchising agreements serve as strategic pathways for companies to expand globally, as seen in McDonald's franchising model. By granting foreign entities the rights to utilize its brand name, business model, and operational standards, McDonald's has successfully established a vast network of franchises worldwide. This approach allows the company to penetrate diverse markets while leveraging the local knowledge and resources of franchises. Through licensing and franchising, companies can achieve global expansion in a effective manner, benefiting from increased market presence and revenue streams while minimizing the risks associated with direct investment in foreign markets. Number 3 is joint ventures and strategic alliances. So this one is riskier, no, compared to the first two. Joint ventures and strategic alliances involve collaboration with local partners to establish a presence in foreign markets. By pooling resources, knowledge, and networks, businesses can mitigate risks, share costs, and gain access to new markets, technologies, and of course, distribution channels. Joint ventures and strategic alliances represent collaborative approaches for companies to enter foreign markets, as illustrated by the partnership between Starbucks and Tata Group in India. Through a joint venture, Starbucks leveraged Tata Group's local expertise and network to navigate the complexities of the Indian market. This collaboration enabled Starbucks to establish a strong presence and expand its footprint across India's diverse regions. By pooling resources and knowledge, companies like Starbucks and Tata Group mitigate risks, share costs, and gain access to new markets and distribution channels, underscoring the value of strategic partnerships in achieving global growth objectives. Number 4 is foreign direct investment, or what we call as FDI. FDI entails establishing wholly owned subsidiaries, branches, or production facilities in foreign countries. While FDI requires substantial investment and entails greater risk, it offers businesses greater control over operations and facilitates long-term strategic objectives such as market penetration and market leadership. FDI, as exemplified by Toyota's establishment of manufacturing plants in various countries, involves significant capital investment to establish wholly owned subsidiaries or production facilities in foreign markets. Toyota's FDI strategy has allowed the company to expand its global manufacturing footprint and maintain control over its operations, enabling it to adapt production processes to local market demands and, of course, regulatory requirements. Despite the higher risk and upfront costs associated with FDI, companies like Toyota benefits from greater autonomy and flexibility, positioning them for long-term market penetration and leadership in key regions worldwide. So, as we conclude this lesson on modes of entry into international markets, I encourage you to reflect on the strategic implications for businesses expanding globally. By carefully evaluating the pros and cons of each mode of entry and aligning strategies with organizational objectives and market dynamics, businesses can navigate the complexities of international expansion with confidence and foresight. So let's have some review questions in order to refresh what we have just taken. 1. What are the main modes of entry into international markets, and briefly describe each one? The main modes of entry includes exporting, licensing and franchising, joint ventures and strategic alliances, and foreign direct investment, or FDI. Exporting involves selling goods or services abroad. Licensing and franchising grant rights to use intellectual property. Joint ventures and alliances involve collaboration with local partners. And FDI entails establishing wholly owned subsidiaries or facilities in foreign countries. Number two, what are the advantages and disadvantages of exporting as a mode of entry into international markets? Advantages of exporting include low initial investment, minimal risk, and flexibility. However, disadvantages may include limited control over distribution and, of course, potential trade barriers. Number three, how do licensing and franchising differ as modes of entry into international markets? Licensing involves granting rights to use intellectual property for a fee, while franchising involves granting rights to operate a business using a proven business model and brand name in exchange for royalties and fees along with ongoing support. Number four, what are the key considerations when forming joint ventures or strategic alliances for international market entry? Key considerations include finding a compatible partner, aligning strategic objectives, negotiating terms and responsibilities, and managing cultural differences and potential conflicts. Number five, what factors influence the decision to pursue foreign direct investment or FDI as a mode of entry into international markets? Factors influencing FDI decisions include the level of control desired, the need for local market knowledge, regulatory requirements, the availability of resources, and the degree of political and economic stability in the target market. Now, I invite you to share your insights, experiences, if ever, and questions on the various modes of entry discussed today. Let us engage in a stimulating dialogue exploring the strategic considerations and the challenges associated with international market entry, and we will do this in our available online platform. Thank you for your attention, and let us contribute our journey. Let us continue our journey into the realm of international business strategy. Next time, we will proceed to Lesson 10 about competitive strategies in global markets. Thank you and see you then. Bye-bye.